Hey everyone, it's Christine here. Welcome to this week's weekly energy reading for March 13th through the 19th. So a quick theme that I just started with this particular week, especially given the astrological transits and aspects as well as energies, is the theme of parting ways with your favorite sock. This is completely metaphorical, as you can gather, and I kept feeling, especially after last week's full moon in Virgo, there was a big release, almost as if the tide receded back and we could see everything that was littered on the ocean floor. This also was very much reflected in our own lives. We are now able to see with the Virgo full moon where it is that we need to clean up and release and essentially prepare to close down and wrap up and move from as we start this new astrological cycle with Aries in about a week. And so many of us may be feeling this sentimental type of feeling towards our favorite pair of socks, knowing that we are going to have to donate it or give it away or put it in the trash because it may no longer be usable. We may not be able to continue using it. The brand may no longer exist, so we need to find a new pair of socks. And we may have outgrown them simply. Maybe the socks no longer fit. Maybe they're not our style anymore. And I kept getting that resonating and very resonant theme of socks. And again, Pisces rules over the feet, so perhaps that's why it came. But this week in particular, there's a lot of energy where it seems like, okay, we see the light at the end of the tunnel. Things are clearing up, though there's a little confusion and fog. There's communication coming through. It's providing more clarity for us overall. And we are realizing, okay, I'm starting to see and acknowledge the truth in my current situation, in my current earthly realm. But that doesn't mean that I have to stick with that energy. That's where we can connect to the spiritual realm, to our intuitive and creative expression, to our soul essence, if you will, and use that as a spark of joy, as a driving factor to continue pushing us forward, even when the train ahead, right, is foggy, even when our socks have to be left behind. And so there's a lot of new energy that's pushing to come through. There's a lot of intensity that is asking us to really think below the surface, to think deep, and to ask ourselves, I should say, and to look long term into what it is that we want, what we value, and what we're willing to continue taking with us on this journey. So with that being said, let's dive in straight into the Astrocap. We are in the last full week of this water sign, Pisces energy season, I should say, with Aries season and the spring equinox and fall equinox, wherever you are in the world, officially starting on the 20th of March. And so I want to ask, what did this season illuminate for you? Because Pisces is the sign of closures, of endings, of completions, but also revelations too, coming up in many aspects of our lives, through our dreams, through intuitive downloads and spiritual messages, and also through our creative outlets. What has come up for you? What has been illuminated? And what do you feel you are ready to leave and start anew? Because when we get this shift, and when the sun ingresses into Aries, and we have a lot of planets starting to shift into Aries, we'll feel this momentum to go forward, to start new things, to close and leave behind this last chapter of our lives, and to start a new page in this book. And so you may be feeling a little bit of, okay, I still have that wet sock that I'm wearing, or maybe those old socks that don't fit me, or maybe that has a hole. They have a hole in one part and I'm ready to let go. But not quite yet, because I see again the light at the end of the tunnel. There's a lightness, an energetic vibrancy, a buoyancy, if you will, that's coming through. But we're almost there. That's why I kept getting this sock theme. Many of us have one foot that's naked and the other foot that's still wearing the sock. And we're still kind of sliding around on these floors that are not completely dry. Imagine if they were mopped. So again, there's an energy this week of wrapping things up, having things come to an end, really getting final in our decisions, but also with clarity, and also coming into truth and personal internal acknowledgement with ourselves. Like, okay, I'm making the conscious, acute decision or even level of awareness that this is where I'm at. This is what's happening, and this is where I would like to go. So Monday, March 13th through the 16th, we have Mars in Gemini squaring Neptune in Pisces. And again, early on in the week, you may still be feeling like okay, we just had this big release, what's going on? I'm still feeling like I'm navigating some clouds here. I feel like I may be in a labyrinth. I thought I got more clarity here, but when something is finalizing one part of my life, it seems like there's more questions in another. And this is all happening, and it's meant to happen because we're still navigating, we'll say, these waters, these emotions, while we continue going forward towards the light, right? Towards the spring equinox. And take it as it resonates wherever you are in the world. But as we see more of this light, we gain more clarity. We gain more acute knowledge and awareness in our mental landscape, and also start grounding ourselves with these intuitive messages we've been receiving. Because right now we may be swimming in a lot of different messages and not finding that clarity. And with this aspect, with Gemini, with Mars squaring Neptune, we may be feeling completely overwhelmed, not knowing what direction to go in. We may even say, wow, things feel like a clusterfuck right now. I have a lot of things to attend to, a lot of things to address, things I want to change. I have no idea where to start. I'm not feeling like there's clarity coming in. And you may be feeling an overall lack of direction. And that's okay, because when things are foggy, you're not supposed to. The main essence of this aspect, energetic-wise, is to pause, to have patience, to know things are going to work out, things will unfold. There's no need to push or force anything. This is about going with that flow, right? Being that fish. Oh, okay, this channel doesn't work. Well, then I'll swim another way. Or maybe I'll just hang out a little bit, because this Piscean energy is all about, too, allowing yourself to rest, knowing when to rest, knowing when to actually just stop and say, okay, I'm going to take a quick break. Doesn't mean you stop working. And again, use discernment here depending on what area of your life that you are looking at or addressing. But you may be feeling too this physical element of, and also mental element of exhaustion, of tiredness, of fatigue, also feeling low energy. And it may be like a roller coaster, up and down. And so this is normal. We've had two previous iterations like this, two previous aspects in mid-November and mid-October. And so this is the final third, we'll say, installment of this Mars square Neptune transit. And so for me, I also put in my notes here, it's kind of like playing hide and seek. Mars is looking for certain answers, and Pisces is like, come and find me. And it's almost like they're laughing and playing around. And so if you take a more creative just to this and realize, okay, patience is needed here, because Mars, especially since it's in Gemini, can just be very confused, wanting to do a lot, overwhelm itself, and as a result you can get very agitated and frustrated and really pissed off. Not only that, you can burn out quickly, especially if you're forcing or trying to push something where in reality you're meant to just swim with things. And so right now, some practical advice is to simplify. Look at areas that you can control in your life, maybe streamline or simplify the way that you process your own communications, maybe clean up your, again, communications, anything that has to do with trying to think or look at knowledge, information. So simplify your emails, get rid of any clutter around your environment, because that really impacts how you process, how you think, and how you feel. It's that saying when people, speak, your external reality is a reflection of your internal reality. And so take a look and see where you can reduce, where you can simplify in order to help calm and quell some of that overwhelm, because your environment really helps make a difference, Also, be careful of making any assumptions during this time. Sometimes because we don't have that certainty or that clarity that we're looking for, things may feel nebulous. Things may feel like, I'm not really sure what direction. The windshield is foggy. And so stay as grounded as you can within yourself. Don't jump to conclusions. Be okay with knowing that you may have to slow down a little bit and rest. On Tuesday, the 14th, we have the last quarter moon in Sagittarius at 24 degrees of this mutable fire sign. And so right now, this is like a turning point, right? Before we get into the next lunar cycle with the new moon in Aries in several weeks from now. And for me, I kept getting, this was a last minute check to get off the exit or to keep going, almost as if you were driving a vehicle. So we may think especially with the energy of Sagittarius, wanting to move things along. There's a little bit of feistiness of wanting to get to the knowledge we need to pursue what it is that we want to and to move ahead. But with Pisces, it's telling us, not just yet. Change is coming completely, and this is going to allow, this phase is going to allow us to be open to knowledge, to intuitive messages, and also ideas that come up during this time that can help with this change that's coming. Because everyone, you can probably energetically feel it. Something's about to shift. Things are coming to an end. Things are changing in many areas of everyone's life. It'll depend where, I'll just say, energies are clustered and what you're going through. Especially if you align to astrology. If not, just think about where you want to change and in what areas of your life. But hold on to the spark of fire within you and attach that and connect that to the dream, to your larger dream, I should say, because that'll allow you to keep going when that, I'll just say, that trigger, as if you're running a race, is pulled, right? When we get into Aries season, you will more formally feel that ability to go and to essentially use that momentum to start working on what it is that you want. On Thursday, the 16th of March, we have Venus ingressing Taurus. So, and this will happen until April 11th. So Venus is in its domicile here. It's at home, it's comfy. This is the love bubble because Venus co-rules both Taurus and Libra. And so here, Taurus, well, Venus and Taurus is all about building loyalty, trust, nurturing types of relationships, really slow and steady. I call it slow bombing instead of love bombing, which tends to be fast, quick, heated like that. Taurus is more about, you know what, I'm gonna watch you first, maybe observe, get to know you, put a crumb out here, but not in a breadcrumbing sense, and see how you take it. And it's like a reciprocal back and forth. And there's that's also another way to build emotional connectivity and intimacy, but also vulnerability, and to allow things to foment, almost like you are creating a millefeuille, or that dessert that has 1,000 layers as it translates, like pastry layers, and building it one on top of the other. So the foundation is really important here. So there's again a focus on long-lasting stability and security with your relationships, in particular, also too with your finances. I feel like there's a more prudent nature here when it comes to nurturing your money, growth, investments, but also balancing that too with how you want to use it. Because again, Taurus is a sign of nurturing, of sensuality, and of beauty as well. And day-to-day beauty is also an aspect of this energy. But an overall metaphor that I got here was taking a baby, like an egg or a seed, and nurturing it to its complete gestation. Oh my God, I'm having trouble with words, you guys. To maturity, I should say, that's better. So watching a plant, maybe you plant the seed and watch it grow, that's the energy of Taurus. Every day you visit the little plant or the little egg under the light, if it's a chicken, for example, and you nurture it, you tend to it, you talk to it, play music, maybe you tend to the soil, make sure it has enough water, or the same with the egg, make sure it's warm enough. And when it cracks, it becomes a baby chick. And when the first leaf sprouts from that plant, it starts growing into whatever it is that you are wanting to cultivate, whether it's a tree, a flower, or some produce. So that's one of the best ways to look at this energy with Venus and Taurus. It's a slow and steady. It's not about going fast. So some advice here: be careful with stubbornness, because this is a prime feature of Taurus, and you may feel that in your relationships in particular, some issues or difficulties around compromising may come up. And those could also highlight some challenges or some things that you may want to sort out that are coming up for resolution as well. Also, something here with Taurus, be careful of going too slow to avoid making decisions, or of pausing, because that can not only cause impatience in others, but with yourself, you could also be taking a too cautious approach and being risk averse into moving things along. That doesn't mean getting married, the day after you meet someone, but also realizing, okay, this is where I'm at, and perhaps putting myself out there is going to be something that's going to be important in a relationship. On Thursday, the 16th through the 17th, we have Venus, again in Taurus, squaring Pluto in Capricorn. And so with these themes, there are issues that may be coming out. Think shadow aspects, issues around power, control, possessiveness, jealousy that may arise in relationships with other people, but also within yourself and how you see yourself and your role in these relationships. And really, it allows you to get down to the root cause of why is this coming up? Because a lot of times when these things start popping up and off in our relationships, it's coming up for healing and for acknowledgement. Sometimes we tend to bury these deep down and we're like, whatever, or we get into repeated cycles of the same things coming up. Think about any relationships where there may be some tension, or you may have had several altercations that are repeating themselves. The theme may be rooted in one of these things. And if you get down to the root cause, it could be due to a feeling of some type of insecurity around feeling loved, around your worth and your value system too. And sometimes when your value system is not aligned to where you are in your life, we are not going to receive that satisfaction. We won't feel emotionally fulfilled. And so again, any relationships that may not have a strong foundation or were not built on a strong foundation, they may fall apart during this time. At the same time, others may transform, especially with the depth of Pluto, and they could become even stronger as a result. Sunday, March 19th, we have Mercury moving into Aries. And so planets are starting to ingress into the Aries energy, fire sign, cardinal fire sign. And so with this energy, again, our communication is going to be pretty straightforward, direct. Sometimes it could trespass maybe the lines, blur the boundaries with being crass, but I'll just say Aries are very straight and forthcoming. Many of them say what they mean and mean what they say. And some people aren't used to that, but there's an excitable, courageous, ambitious energy around this. New ideas may come up. You may be excited to get things off the ground, to start something new, especially if you haven't had that energy in a long time. And there's that momentum to liven things up. So again, your conversations may be really fun, really interesting, passionate, and excitable. Two things to watch out for with Mercury ingressing into Aries is your temper, being impatient, and also trying to rush things along. So just be careful, because sometimes when we have this energy, especially if you have your natal Mercury in Aries, you may think, okay, this is what I'm communicating to others. I don't know what the issue is. What are they not seeing that I'm not seeing? So just take a more perhaps slower, cautious, compassionate approach here, and be ready to explain yourself, right? It's not defending yourself, but just explain if people are like, I don't get it, right? Again, on the same day, we have Mercury in Aries sextiling Pluto in Capricorn. And this is allowing us, with our communication, to go a bit deeper. Many of us are wanting to create, start, and link that thread, especially with intimacy. There's a greater need for wanting to dig below the surface. And I've been seeing this and feeling this energy for quite some time, especially when it comes to our relationships, to loved ones, to friends. And we are ready. I want to say we are ready to get intimate. We're ready to take that sock off. This is not a sexual innuendo at all. This is just wanting to get real with people, wanting to have deep conversations, wanting to get to know things. Perhaps you'll unveil some things you didn't know about folks in your environment and surroundings. You'll be more interested in things that you haven't been before, or dig a new layer, like recover, scratch the surface on a deeper level on something that you've already been in for a while. Finally, on Sunday as well, in the evening at 6:06 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, New York City time for reference, we have Jupiter in Aries semi-sextiling Uranus in Taurus. And so this happens when we have two signs that are about 30 degrees apart. So it's the next sign over, right? Aries and Taurus are right next to each other. And so with both, there's a counterbalance, right? Aries is a cardinal fire sign. Taurus is a fixed earth sign. And there's a lot of complementary energy there too, even though they seem very different. There may be a little bit of discomfort during this day because there's a change, or a wanting to change, to make some positive new changes here. Sometimes with Taurus, we may be like, am I safe to go out? Am I safe to do this? Am I ready to disrupt the status quo and try something new? But because the planet, we have Uranus here, it's like, yes, Aries with Uranus, even though they're in different planets, Jupiter in Aries and Uranus in Taurus, I feel like that is allowing us to consider new innovative ways of doing things. So we may be apt to receive ideas, to receive our intuitive downloads and be like, okay, you know, I've got a few on my plate. I'm going to think about doing this. And so depending on where it's transiting in your chart, this may be a great day to take a risk on something that is particularly meaningful to you, that is going to allow you to become unstuck, to gain more flexibility, more freedom, and to simply invite fresh new energy. Perhaps that new sock I was talking about. Okay, guys, we are going to start the collective reading. Holy crap, 20 minutes of this astrology. There's so much. I'm really feeling called to do more about the astrology because everyone is feeling a lot of different things. Astrology, I feel, gives us a lot of in-depth clues about what's going on. It allows us to tap into our own energies and feel this. Apart from anyone has access to this, you can look up aspects and transits, they're available. But a lot of this, thank you, those are my wieners back there. A lot of this I also feel intuitively. And so many of us are getting ready to exchange our socks and to upgrade to different pairs of socks this week. So with that said, let's go on. Let me write the timestamp for the collective reading for you all. We are going to see what this week's energy is holding for us, what messages the universe has, and what we need to know. Okay. What does the universe want us to know for this week? I feel like there's a stop and go bumper car type of energy. You know, if you've ever been in bumper cars, those rides you tend to see at carnivals, at fairs. Sometimes, you know, they're in short and closed spaces and you tend to bump into people or bump into other cars, hence the name bumper cars. And it's usually padded with rubber. That's the energy I feel, like a stop and go. We got the Ace of Swords, Air, Gemini, Aquarius, Libra. Clarity. The World card. We got the fixed signs associated: Scorpio, Taurus, Leo, Aquarius. Ace of Cups, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. And at the bottom of the deck, we have the Seven of Cups. This to me is like Gemini energy, even though this represents water. Nine of Wands. And Knight of Coins underneath. So yeah, this explains some of the nebulousness, but I feel clarity is coming this week. Hold on. Let me hold it like this. So again, I feel like this week we are pushing forward. Like I said earlier, we are seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. We are cleaning up. It's almost as if we have a major demolition project. We'll just say life, in each of our lives, right? Our own mini demolitions. And we're cleaning up the debris, the declutter, the dust, any plaster, molding that we've taken off, right? And I'm saying this all metaphorically. Some of you may be going through renovations with your own homes, or you may work in this area, but in that vein, I feel like as we clean things up and as we remove what we need to, right? Think up a dustpan and sweeping things up and throwing it out. We're starting to see the light. We're starting to gain greater clarity. And little by little, we're feeling a little bit more confident. Okay, we're going in this right direction. I feel like this week, many of you may gain some type of epiphany moment, like a light bulb moment. This could be an internal truth where all of a sudden you receive your own personal message through your intuitive knowings, your higher self, through your spiritual guides, your team. Knowledge could also come to you in a practical sense, but there's some type of truth here where you're like, got it. It just clicks. It just, amidst this web of knots, of overwhelm, of confusion, you're like, I got it, I got it, I got it. And so I feel like, again, this is a huge light bulb moment of certainty for you, of truth, of knowledge, of clarity, and a quest for going forward, because this lights your own way. The truth in itself is your own spark of joy, but also, what is it? Spark of fire. That's what I want to say. It's that light. Even though we don't see light here, this is your guiding post, your compass. Ooh, sorry guys. I'm trying to remove the glare from this light. And we have green. There's green, blue, and red gems here, down here. So again, for me, this is about really aligning to your soul's essence, to your soul's truth. With the green, the blue, and the red, it really denotes, if you look at energy points, if you look at the chakras, the root, the throat, and the heart chakra. With the World card and with the Ace of Cups, I feel like there's a shift again. This also speaks to cycles ending, which is right in, in line with the energies that we're experiencing. A lot of things are ending. We're cleaning up that demolition, as I call it, the changes that are happening in our lives and the changes that we are already sensing and feeling that are coming up for us. You just feel it. A lot of us intuitively feel it, and we're just like, I know something's about to change. Some of you have been making steps, concerted efforts. Again, whether it's with a job or a relationship or wanting to change direction in your life, there's so many ways, because of this is a collective reading. But again, I feel like this epiphany, this illumination in your life, it's almost like when you put the sword down. There's a movie reference I'm getting. After some type of a battle, I can't ascertain if this is true or not, but there's a sort of victory you feel when you put the sword. When you put the sword in the ground, it's almost like declaring victory. And this is the sense that I get here. Many of you will come to that, perhaps it's radical acceptance for some, but acknowledgement, knowing that, okay, I'm ready. I'm ready to end this. I'm ready to close this chapter. I'm ready to release this. For many, there could be people you're ending. There could be, it's like a way of life, because I sense movement. Some of you, generally with this card, it could indicate movement, but I also get changes in beliefs, changes in the way you're thinking, the way you view things, and changes of an old way of life, almost like peeling off the skin, like a snake and a lobster lose their skin. It's that sense of renewal. It's like you're done. I'm ready to hang up that sock that I mentioned. I keep getting socks. I'm ready to move on from that sock. It's almost like a security blanket, but for some, it could be socks too. I know when you find like a perfect sock, it makes the world of difference, you know, because sometimes some socks bunch up and you're like, or you have like a thread in the sock and it's pissing your foot out. It's pissing it off, I mean. So there's a sense here. I get a very certain, a sense of certainty, a knowingness, perhaps a peace. I get radical acceptance right away, where you're like, you know, I'm ready to move on from this. There's a little bit of a detached, emotionless feeling here. Some of you may have already dealt with your emotions, but I feel many of you are going to have a big release this week with the Ace of Cups in particular. You may just have a floodgate of emotions come up. Perhaps this is one of the final ones as Pisces season closes, as it ends, and we shift from a water sign to a fire sign. And your tears, your emotions are drying up. I should say your emotions aren't drying up, the tears are, but also it's an element of healing and catharsis. It's an element of release. When you cry, there's so many things that are happening. It's very transformative, very soothing, very relieving. And you just feel like, wow, I didn't know I had all of that, because that's all stagnant, stuck energy. And for some, it may have been a long time, especially since we have the Venus squaring Pluto aspect happening on the 16th through the 17th. There may be a lot that's hiding in your vault, in your heart's vault, underneath the surface, where all of a sudden it comes out, like repressed emotions. So again, I feel like this truth, this knowing this week, it's going to give you more light. So we could say this clarity, it's a finality here. It's like the show must go on, but we're about to end one chapter of our lives. And so with that, again, there's an element of grief. For some, this anticipatory grief has already come. And for others, it's going to be the final, send off to Pisces season before we go into Aries. I also want to say, because I've been getting a lot of relationship themes and many of March's monthly zodiac sign readings that I just put out the past week, and there's still repeated themes around relationships. I feel like relationship dynamics are changing for so many people. And in Pisces season, we see a lot of, I would say, dissolution. dissolving, separation, death as well, metaphorically, but also physically. You know, there's endings and completions. So I feel this season, many of you are going to be reconnecting with your sense of self. Also, there's a greater need to nurture yourself, to revamp your self-care system. Because I don't think a lot of people realize this, but your sense of how you care for yourself and the people around you, they're very much a reflection of that, right? And it's also tapping into your value. And we have some elements here, you know, with Taurus, with Venus and Taurus. So this week, it's really highlighting the need, wait a minute. I've had some people that I've let go of, and I'm really wanting to call in nurturing, we'll just say connections in general, all types, platonic and romantic. I need to take care of myself, because that in itself also mirrors a type of relationships, and the quality, most importantly. It's not about quantity. It's the quality of relationships that you're looking for and that you're looking to grow from at this stage or season of your life. Sorry, y'all. So again, this week's theme is about truth, acceptance, love, is particularly with self. Okay, let's see what other messages the universe has for you at this time. Guys, I'm so sorry. Every time I'm filming, my dogs decide to start making all these noises, and then they're quiet during the in-between sessions. We have a win-win outcome is forecast. Full moon in Libra. Look at this. Again, relationship themes. Libra rules the 7th house of partnerships, contracts, hidden enemies as well. So again, a lot of things have been illuminated. The fire signs in particular, we're going into Aries season. For any of you that are major placements in fire, or fire signs, I should say, in Aries, Leo, Sag, you may want to take a look at the March readings, because there was a focus on relationships. But in general, because this is a collective reading, I feel like many people are looking for balance and to rebalance the scales in their lives. So there's a sense of, okay, we're taking stock. A chapter just ended in our lives. What do we need going forward to maintain this equilibrium internally, but also with the folks around us? Also too, with the Venus and Taurus energy we have, this is, I would say Taurus and Libra are cousins because they're ruled by Venus. This also taps into different elements of our values. Some people are going to be revamping their value systems, because I always say take a look at them maybe seasonally or at least every year, because they shift with circumstances in our lives. What other messages do we need to know? Uh-oh. Okay, we got quite a few here. Holy crap, there's a Libra energy. So I have, what is this called? I forgot this deck. The Numinous. The Numinous Oracle. They're astrology cards. We got Libra again, idealist. So we have harmonious, cooperative, balanced, socially aware, artistic, people-pleasing, fair, idealistic, aesthetic, choosy, aspirational, geometric, graceful, considerate, obliging, indecisive, judgmental, flattering. So a lot of Libra energy coming out. Some of you may have strong Libra placements. Perhaps this is a prelude to the Aries Libra nodal points that are coming up in mid-July. Right now we have the North Node in Taurus, South Node in Scorpio. We have the 12th house. How fitting, right? Surrender, subconscious mind, compassion, dreams, karma, forgiveness, baggage, trance states, the unseen, healing, spiritual development, guilt, prayer, Akashic records. We also have the 10th house, reputation. This is about career, responsibilities, achievement, competence, fame, notoriety, standing, authority figures, legacy, purpose, pinnacle, the patriarchy, and empire. And we have Aries. Okay, I'm just gonna keep going. The fire starter, active, self-starting, daring, fierce, assertive, fiery, exhilarating, innocent, on a mission, bossy, driving, sparky. Sparky? Sparky. I just got it like a dog's name. It seems like a dog's name. Courageous, selfish, macho, impulsive, argumentative, and competitive. Look at this. They're both on the same axis, right? 7th house energy, 1st house energy. It's coming up already. We have 12th house and 10th house. So again, I feel like this week there are a lot of themes around relationships. It could be work relationships coming to an end, surrendering. I feel like this is also too preserving yourself in relationships. There's a highlight here in releasing any codependency, people pleasing, control, power struggles, and any other shadow aspects that come up this week. You may feel or see these already and have been seeing them in your relationships, and they may be coming for culmination, for closing, or closure, I should say, this week. So pay attention. We've got Aries, Libra, 12th house, and 10th house. I also get some of you are getting ready to shift. There's like a we to me energy. Some of you may be getting ready to shift your energy, your focus on your career, on yourself. There's a divergence here happening. It's again, it's all about the balance. Do you see? Some of you may be working through different relationship issues at this time. I'm like making words plural when they shouldn't be, and then keeping those that are singular when they should be plural. So, and we even have 2 cherubs or angels here. And look, even here too, what is it with the damn balance? Do you see this? It's symmetrical, which is very Libra energy. Many of you are looking for symmetry. In other words, not in a vanity aesthetic sense. You're looking for balance in your relationships, in your work life, particularly in your relationships, perhaps as a boss, manager, or with your coworkers or colleagues. There's a sense of trying to balance perhaps personal work life, people, friendships around different areas of your life, your individuality and sense of who you are, maintaining that sense of being, right? Not dealing or bending into enmeshment, codependency, and lack of boundaries. Something Libras have to be careful. And there's a sense here of give and take and reciprocity. Shadow aspect of Aries could be selfishness, sometimes wanting to do things alone and not really taking time to we'll just say patiently listen to others. And for Libras to be like, okay, and then they get fed up and then they become passive aggressive. So again, there's different themes highlighted here right now. And I feel like it has to do with ourselves, things that our relationships are mirroring to us, but also what we are going to be learning as well. I feel for both, no matter what your sign is, there's an element here to connect to your spirituality. And you may get a lot of ideas. You may get a lot of messages surrounding your career this week, which moves to make, because again, a lot of the themes in at least the monthly zodiac sign readings I've done for March, they have been around either relationships or your career, professional area. Some of you are going to, what is it, get more milk out of honey, get more honey than bees, that saying. When you start either, for those of you that are over involved in people, in their whatever, their drama, their relationships, you tend to help people at work at the expense of your own work. Some of you are going to be asked this week to take a step back, to maintain that sovereignty, right, with others. Allow them to do their own shit while you do yours, and allow that synergy to exist, interdependence, no too much dependence or even codependence. The same thing for some Libras. Well, either or. It's the embodiment of the energy that matters here. Some of you that maybe tend to do things alone, or you are like, I'm not working with anyone, or for whatever reason you prefer to just go with it alone. You may be feeling that pull or being asked in different ways to start collaborating more, to start reaching out to people, to learn how to work together with others, perhaps at work, or however that your career, whatever your career entails, but also as part of your own public image and interface. Some of you may be called to work more with others. So again, a strong focus on individuality and relationships this week. I felt called to also use this Love and Relationships deck by the Affirmators, and we're going to see what messages we have here. What else do we need to know for this week, please? remember not to lose sight of yourself and your goals whenever you are in relationships, because there is, with the Libra axis wheel, there's an element of compromise, but also maintaining yourself too. Okay. We have 3 cards. We have sensuality. Embracing sensuality doesn't necessarily mean you're a middle-aged swinger. It simply means you're savoring one of the coolest aspects of being alive: sensory input. It's time to get decadent and reward yourself with gifts for the senses. You could drop a wad of cash on champagne and chocolate, or you could tune in and enjoy the incredible gifts around you. The taste of an orange, the sounds of the forest, the texture of corduroy. I don't know your life. The point is, it's time to savor whatever your senses can grab hold of, even if that means you're being sensual. Gross. So these have a little bit of a comedic flair and slant to them, but this is right in line with Venus in Taurus, and we have Uranus in Taurus. So there's a grounding element coming back, but also a point to get present in where we are, to embody that sense of I wanted to say enjoyability, but enjoying the everyday pleasures of life, not taking life too seriously or missing, the small things in life. Sometimes when we are so focused on the next thing or rushing through or completing something, we miss the small things, maybe like a little bird we see, or we smell beautiful flowers, or we feel the sun on our skin and it feels really good. So this week you're also being invited to start becoming more present with what brings you joy, to sensualize your life, enjoy your food more, perhaps incorporate different mindfulness practices, slow down and enjoy the moment. That's really the refrain I can give with this energy. And perhaps some of you, especially since we got a lot of Libra Aries energy, could incorporate that into your relationships. It makes a world of difference when you are intentional, I would say consciously intentional, conscientious with any relationship. When you give someone the full presence of your time, of your energy, it makes a difference. It doesn't matter if you're talking about peanuts or cheese. You can feel when someone is actually listening to you, and it's as if you've won the lotto. And so that type of presence may be especially useful for you. Maybe you're someone that is feeling burnt out, overwhelmed. You're like, I don't know what I need to do. I have to do laundry. I have to do this. Take time. Laundry is actually a great way to practice this. We also have maturity. I make peace with the tough relationships of my past. I probably would have skipped the pain they came with, but I'm grateful for the lessons they brought me. Because of those tough relationships, I can look back at the mosaic of my life, and it has an asterisk, which says internet stalk my exes, and I see value in even the most broken pieces. I really dodged a bullet. I mentioned this in one of the fire signs. So again, if you have prominent Aries, Leo, Sag placements, there may be something in there, because there are a lot about emotions for each of the signs, especially Sagittarius, on emotional development, growth, and maturity. I feel like this week you are really learning, perhaps healing different aspects of your emotional processing quotient level and intelligence. And it's like an up-leveling within yourself. Vulnerability, becoming open, taking more risks, and showing your heart, perhaps wearing your heart lower on your sleeve, right? Some people wear it up here. Some people are like, oh, the heart's not on the sleeve. But there's an element here of recognizing your growth and how far you've come, which is very much reflective of the people in your life and how we learn, because relationships are teachers for us, and that allows us to grow. Finally, we have surrender. Hear ye, hear ye. You are hereby being called to unclench your grip on any old thought patterns that are getting in your way. Surrender any ideas that make you feel like a victim of circumstance, or which make your dream relationship seem like an impossibility. The mayor of reinvention has just arrived and has made the following decree. Limiting beliefs about yourself and your life are heretofore forthwith, officially, and indubitably declared for the birds. That's a mouthful. Anyways, again, with this theme this week and even into last, there's a lot of focus on shifting what you feel, and also how you see and do relationships, but also in general, limiting beliefs. A lot of times, whatever it is you're trying to bring into reality, to manifest, to take action steps towards in your life, you may feel fill in the blank, fear, doubt, insecurity, and that may temporarily cause you to take a step back and say, I'm not going forward. But that's also an opportunity for you to re-examine that belief system and ask yourself, wait a minute, is this serving me? How can I change it? Maybe you're scared of putting yourself out there if you're starting to date again, and there's a whole shitload of laundry lists you can come up with. I'm not pretty enough, I'm not fit, I don't have the right clothing, I haven't dated in 10 years, there's not enough people, there are no healthy people, whatever. There's a crap load. I'm sure you have your own. Think of them and then simply ask yourself, how can I reframe this? What can I do? And then take a small step. Maybe you want to feel better about yourself and you're like, you know what? I'm gonna wear my favorite outfit. Maybe you want to try a new cafe if you're going on first dates. I'm just using this as an example, especially since we have a lot of relationship examples here, but this is about really undoing what you had done or what's been done to you in your life for a long time. And this is another new opportunity to change things, right? With maturity, especially emotional maturity and growth, but also with wisdom and even most of the time with earth age, because not everyone matures emotionally as they grow older on earth. But generally, the older we get, we gain a lot of wisdom. And the more work we've done, the more inner work, self-parenting, inner child work, shadow work, etc., we gain a whole new perspective, and that helps to unpack these limiting beliefs that we've had. Particularly, maybe they're around career, and we also have surrender twice. I didn't even see that. Surrender, and then surrender. So you're being asked this week to let go, I would say, of mindsets, but also of people, places, things, anything that's no longer working for you. For some, that could be extreme, I'll just say ultra independence, and that could also allude to emotional avoidance for some. For some, it could be people pleasing, lack of boundaries, jumping from relationship to relationship. I'm only saying this because we have these two energies out here, and it's going to not resonate with everyone, but take a look at your belief systems around relationships, all types, because they impact a lot of areas of your life this week. Okay, I'm going to get a final starseed card to wrap this message. What final message does the universe want us to know for this week, please? Thank you. We've got two cards. We've got blue star. Follow the light of your inner compass. The blue star. It will lead you to the truth that resides within your soul. Here it is. You may be wishing we got this card earlier. It would have shut me up earlier. But this is guiding you. This epiphany. This is what's going to help you make peace. That's the radical acceptance I talked about earlier. It's going to make peace with this part of your life right now that's ending. For some, it could entail a lot of different relationships, maybe a partnership, but I feel, again, this is the floodgate that's opening, and allow yourself to feel all of it. It's going to be important. Forget about vibes. That's another video, but so many people in the spiritual community and even healing, sometimes they try to expedite the process of healing, grief, and just going through it. You can't really put an expiration date on grief, but I'll say if it's starting to affect your everyday life, or you're to the point of not even taking a shower, taking care of yourself, maybe you've lost your job because you can't continue, maybe that's a sign to see someone for help, right? But for the most part, you have to allow yourself that natural process. It's very organic to feel all your emotions in different things in life. It doesn't matter whether it's a separation, a divorce, a real death, maybe a shift or a transition in life. Maybe your children have fled the nest, or maybe you're starting a new job. There's so many different types and elements of grief. Finally, we have guidance. You are not alone. You are guided by masters and teachers of the highest realms. I love these cards. They always tell me what I need to hear. Hold on. I'm going to put this here because that damn glare is pissing me off. Okay, there we go. Guidance. And then blue star for anyone that wants to read it. Okay. People, I want to say one last thing. Sometimes people don't call out to their spiritual team. They don't ask for help, or simply state, if you don't work with any particular energy, you can simply ask the universe for assistance at this time, for a sign that you are on the right track. And sometimes that can make the world of difference. You can specify, you know, please show me, whatever pops into your head. 3 white butterflies, that I am on the right path. Sometimes people say you can add, you know, dates, like please show me within the next 24 hours. I'm pretty open. I'm just like, please show me the sign of 3 butterflies that I am on the right path. And then I'm open. Don't forget to write it down, because sometimes I see signs and I'm like, shit, what did I ask? Because I ask for a lot of signs for different things. That's how I communicate. And then I get confused and I'm like, crap, what was that sign? I'm like, can I ask again? So just remember to write it down. I hope this helped someone out there. I hope this gave you more clarity for yourself, but also more strength, more internal validation, especially for messages you are receiving, because that's my role here, is to empower you, to allow you, not to allow you, that's the wrong word, to enable you to trust yourself more and to realize a lot of the signs and messages you're getting, you already know them. So a lot of this is simply confirmation, or sometimes when I do these for myself, for my own readings, I'm like, oh yeah, I felt this. If this resonated, comment down below. Let me know what's going on with you. Please support me in this channel. I think I said that wrong. Please support this channel and I. Hit the thumbs up button, share this video, subscribe and join this amazing community. Otherwise, I'm wishing you a beautiful week. I'll see you soon.